Chuck, we got the first 2 rods in the water. We're starting to get our scent trail back there, but you brought a new rod with you. Tell me a little bit about this.
Boy, I got to tell you, it's been quite a journey. You know, this whole fish fighter thing's been a journey with me, a lifelong journey. But you know, we've been putting out YouTube videos for quite a while now of sturgeon fishing, and been criticized a little bit because I use a ugly stick with a spinning rod guides.
Sure.
And so people are always quick to point out, oh, you're using a you know, a round reel, a bait caster with a spinning rod. Yeah. You know, I don't know how many fish I've caught in my life, but we've caught hundreds. And the reason that we've had to do that is that particular rod was a 9-foot rod. I like the feel, the length of it. And it's really the only rod. So I've been on a mission for like the last 3 years in Alaska, up and down the coast. I remember talking to you before, trying to find that ultimate sturgeon rod that was designed for a bait caster, but had everything else I was looking for. You know, good reel seat. Many times I used to reel and you could feel your reel seat loosening up on you. And I wanted something, you know, with a good tie back right here. So if you want to put your leader or your swivel, snap it in right here. I wanted a 1-piece rod and something that would really hold up and was durable. And I guess it's a good thing, but I reached out with a rod manufacturer. Literally, when I say we've been working on this, so we started working with them last September. They'd send me a rod, we'd go out on the river, and I'm like, oh, the butt needs shortened.
Yep.
Let's change the reel seat. Then we broke a couple. And I had a hard time getting the rod manufacturer to understand that, you know, out here you call them oversized. We just go for the big fish all the time, right? And we're in the Snake River with a big current, and you get an 8-9 foot. Geez, even a 4 or 5 foot fish turns sideways in the current. Imagine you got a hold of a piece of plywood and it turns sideways. We needed a rod that will just hold up.
Yep.
And I'm so excited. You're, you know, outside of our organization, you're really the first person that I get to show this to, and we get to share it on camera today. And I don't know if you can get a close up, but it's our own branded rod. And I never wanted to be in the rod business.
And here you are.
And here we are. But what we did to get the rod of my dreams, and literally this is my dream sturgeon rod, we agreed with a tackle or a rod builder to build us 50 limited edition rods. And when I leave here, I'm gonna leave you edition number 2 of 50. I'm keeping number 1. And something I'm just so proud of, it's a composite blend. You quickly pointed out, wow, this thing has good guides. When you looked at the end of it, or at the guides, you immediately said, wow, you spent some money there.
Yep, absolutely.
And we did. And I fish with mono on the big fish in the big waters. I worry about braid cutting the fish because
yeah, you want to protect them, sure.
And so I stick with the mono. It's a little more abrasion resistant, but out in this estuary, braid would be the line of choice. And these guides don't, I guess, how do I say this? They're designed to work with braid.
Right, they won't cut through the ceramic.
Won't cut through the ceramic, yep. Just a fantastic rod. One of the nice things about it is on a boat is we tie up to the bank, and to be able to cast, if you have a long pole, you're always hanging into a tree limb or a willow branch or getting stuck on the rocks. But the other thing is, you know, when you're bringing in a big fish with a long rod, sinkers are flying above everybody's head. And we just wanted a nice rod that was easy to handle inside of a boat. It's easy to stick out of the way. You know, when you get a lot of activity, you got 4 or 5 rods, you want to be able to lay a rod, and as you can see right here, it's not super big, but yet have a really sensitive tip on it so you can
see the
detect that subtle bite. Has a lot of backbone into it, so when you're really reefing on it, I didn't want a super long rod butt. I hate reeling out here, you know. I have a lot of people fishing with me and they're reeling like this, and you know, and we wanted it to, so you're right here where you can generate a lot of power. Today we're not targeting the oversized, so you got a smaller reel than I like to use a Penn 330.
Sure, yep.
You know, a big reel, you've got a big handle here, but I like a big one so we can really gain some speed on them fish. And I mean, I'm just going on and on, but I'm just so proud of this fish, and I'm real excited to get to share it with you. I've been talking with Austin Moser. He's also on our pro staffer. He's real excited about it, and I think we should. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Time to start. Hey, you got your own. That's number 2.
This is number 2, and it's going to go over to you to show these guys how you rig it.
Well, you know, for down here, we're targeting a lot of these larger fish too, but what's different is that we don't have the heavy current that you do. But for a rod like this, not having the ceramic inserts, having these higher end guides is going to be good, not only because of the braid, but a lot of times what happens is fighting these fish, the rod hits the side of the boat, it's banging up against the gunnels, you could be chipping out those eyes. So this is something that's going to be durable and last long enough to hold it. Braided line is definitely a must down here. You can get away with less lead. It cuts through the salad, the grass that's coming through. And you know, you mentioned being careful with these fish, especially the larger ones. You don't want to cut into them, you don't want to hurt them because we're just catch and releasing. What we do is we run a longer piece of Dacron. And having that longer piece of Dacron will rub up against the side of the fish. This Dacron's a lot thicker material, so it won't cut into them like the braid will. Plus the scoots, the armor on the side, it won't cut through the Dacron as it would. Oh, hear a bite? I heard something. As the braid will. Down to our, of course, barbless hook, catch release fishery, so got to run barbless. And this is a 5/0 hook. And then we're going to be fishing with anchovies. So let's go ahead and grab one here now. I'll hand it back to you just for a second though. Maybe. There it goes. Thank you, sir. So we're just running anchovies down here. Early on in the season, sand shrimp will work pretty well. But the way we rig this up is that an anchovy has a soft spot in the head back here, and then it's hard skull. So you start with the hook in the soft spot behind the skull, then pull it up right through the top of the nose, just like that. And then from there, we just add 2 or 3 half hitches onto the bait. One there. One a little bit further back, and then this last one is the most important one. We don't want the half hitches sliding off the bait turned sideways in the water. So what you do is you sink it into the skin just a little bit. See how I broke the skin there and just drop that last half hitch in. Now it won't be sliding off. Then we're going to put on a pyramid weight, and we run the pyramid weights because they don't roll out here in the sand. It's all sand bottom, there's no gravel, no rock, so running the pyramid weights definitely helps.
Or the Fish Fighter all steel sinkers.
You have those, that's right. Those are pyramid designs, so that's perfect.
Yeah.
So hang on to that. Heck, you brought me a rod, should have brought me some of those too. Those things are sweet. Here we go. There you are. Go ahead and give that a cast. We're going to put it right over here about a 45-degree angle off to our port side. Perfect, right there. Let it hit bottom and then just come tight on it. Make sure everything's all straight. Now this is the best and worst part about sturgeon fishing, the waiting game. But what's great about it is every time you set that hook, you don't know if you're gonna come back and set the hook and be able to bring that rod all the way back up high, or if you're gonna set the hook and it's just gonna stop you and it's a big fish.
That's absolutely the moment every fisherman wants, no matter what it is, right? When
the hook set.
The hook set, that initial moment. So.
First 3 seconds, how big is that fish gonna be?